Greetings, my fellow ghouls and goblins. I'm Tom, and welcome to Monster Gab, where we love to talk about all things horror. And I've just recently obtained this new book called The Little Book of Horror Films, put together by David Miller and published in 2014. Since the filming of this video, my father-in-law very sadly passed away only a few months ago, and the family have been filtering through a few of his possessions. Some of those possessions went to other family members, donated, or in some cases just quite literally thrown away. But the mother-in-law approached my wife with a couple of items and said, would Tom be interested in these? Now, I don't particularly like obtaining items from the deceased. I consider it a bit ghoulish and a little bit greedy, but if it means giving them a good home, well, let's put it this way, I'm a huge horror fan and these items just happen to be of the horror variety. So as well as this incredibly illustrated book, which we will get round to in just a moment, there were a few other items, such as these DVDs like Witch House, starring Linda Blair and David Hasselhoff. I've honestly never heard of this movie. It's also known as Ghost House 2, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. Who knows, it could be decent. There was also Silent Night, Bloody Night, not to be mistaken with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Although this is also a Christmas horror film, I actually watched this for the first time last Christmas, and it's an awful movie, guys. I mean, it really is terrible, but there is something kind of weird about it, kind of charming, and yeah, I wanted to give this a good home. But there is a winner on this DVD list, guys, with Carnival of Souls, which is honestly a really good film. I'm really happy to have this in my collection. I'm surprised I don't have it already. It's a really trippy film. The whole film feels like you're on some kind of drug-infused journey. But honestly, I'm really happy to obtain this. And finally, we do have one other book called Mystery Stories of the 19th Century, which is just a collection of ghost stories and tales of horror, with authors such as M.R. James and Charles Dickens, etc. Nice little collection, looking forward to digging into that. But anyway, let's take a closer look at the Little Book of Horror Films. So straight away from the front cover there, we can see some iconic, classic horror icons with the likes of Dracula, played by Christopher Lee, of course, Pinhead, the Wolfman, etc. I mean, this front cover is just screaming out to any horror fan, please buy me. Fantastic illustration there. And we'll just have a brief look on the back. I'm not going to read all of that to you guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but again we can see some more iconic legends. Christopher Lee there again in Hammer's version of Frankenstein, the Phantom of the Opera, of course. But let's have a closer look, shall we? So inside here we'll see, I think there's a little brief contents menu there. I say brief, that's actually quite a lot of films. So basically, yeah, it's got a list of classic horror films, starting from Nosferatu, going right up to the film Afterward. Of course, this book was published in 2014, so that's as late as the movies go in this book. But that's still quite a collection. So there is a little introduction there, which I will get into. I will read this, but some amazing illustration. Look at the images there, and the artwork is captured really, really well. Starting, of course, with Nosferatu, and on each page it just gives a little synopsis on each film, and then a little bit of information about how the film came to be, maybe a little bit of trivia, etc. But it's just wonderful to breeze through. A great book to have on, say, like a coffee table or something, especially, you know, if you are a horror fan like me. This is just wonderful to kind of flick through and just, you know, you could just jump at any page. And yeah, so obviously we're going through the really, really classic films to start with here. Obviously we're starting with the silent era, moving on into the black and white era with the likes of, you know, Dracula and Frankenstein, Island of Lost Souls. Some amazing classic movies here, and as I keep mentioning, obviously iconic. Oh, sorry, that's my page has just slipped there through my thumbs. Oh, it's just wonderful to have this in my collection. It's amazing to think that the old father-in-law Terry was into this kind of stuff. There's one factor about him I didn't actually know. Could have made for some incredible conversations, I'm sure. Quatermass Experiment, what a film that is. And of course, The Curse of Frankenstein, which is Hammer's take on the Frankenstein stories. Fantastic movies, quite graphic at times as well. Peter Cushing there, what a man. It's a wonderful book to have in this collection. I don't know if I can really show you every page in here because there is just so much to show you, and again, I don't want to take up too much of your time in this video, but we'll just flick through a little bit, shall we, and see what else is in there. Psycho, Pit and the Pendulum. Oh, look at that. Fantastic imagery there. Vincent Price in his glory, eh? The Innocents, a wonderful film based on The Turn of the Screw, which is a brilliant novel in itself, but honestly, one of my favourite ghost stories has been put into film. The Haunting, another one again, which is an absolutely fantastic movie. The original one, especially in my opinion. Witchfinder General, fantastic movie. I believe, is this an Amicus film, or is it Tygon? I can't remember, but a brilliant film, again with Vincent Price in it. Rosemary's Baby, classic film. They're all classic films. The Devil Rides Out, Night of the Living Dead. Again, just reading through the synopsis on here and then the little bits of trivia is going to be really fascinating. The Wicker Man, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Shivers. I mean, there's just so much to get through. Jaws. I think Halloween is in here somewhere. Yeah, The Omen, Suspiria, Halloween, there it is. Alien. Amazing sci-fi movie. I'm actually a fan of Aliens myself, as a favourite between the two, but it's a close call. Alien is still a fantastic movie, and only my opinion, guys. Don't get all ratty on me, okay? Look at that, fantastic imagery and a lovely bit of text there. Not too much, so you could just kind of breeze through and find out a little bit more about your favourite films. The Shining, American Werewolf in London. We're just going to flick through now. The Fly. Oh, some amazing stuff. Silence of the Lambs, so we're going into the 90s now. Scream, 28 Days Later, fantastic zombie film. I remember seeing that in the cinema. Dog Soldiers, a really good take on the werewolf saga. Amazing film, amazing practical effects in that film. Look at the size of that guy. It's just, oh, incredible, so intimidating. Some of these films are just amazing in their own right, but to have this added bit of information is just truly wonderful. Woman in Black, enjoyed that movie, really good. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. That is my little book of horror films. Very sad that my father-in-law did pass away, but wonderful to obtain this, and it's kind of a nice memory to have, I suppose. That little unknown factor that he was indeed a bit of a horror fan. So guys, what do you think of the little book of horror films? Would you like to have this in your collection? Maybe you have it in your collection. What do you think of it? Have you had a good read? Is it any good? Let me know in the comments section there. And thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Until next time. I don't know who they are, but if you don't subscribe, they will get you. So make sure you are indeed subscribed. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new video here on Monster Gab. Like the video if you did indeed like it, and share this with your friends. Leave a comment down there, and thank you so much for stopping by. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.